How did your actual work start as a grade B officer? What were your responsibilities that time? Ma'am, I noticed that you retired from the international department. So does one get chances to move to other departments apart from the DEPR when they join as specifically in the DEPR department? Ma'am, I'll just go back a little on your point, how much you emphasized the fact that it is a lot of hard work and one has to be ready for that. In that context, I just wanted to ask you, how is the work-life balance like in RBI? The department, I think, publishes so many, like you said, this is the primary data. Of course, they are working on so much data for the policy decisions. So what all data are you delving or working with on a longish basis in this department? RBI had adopted the flexible inflation targeting model a few decades back, and it was not there earlier. So how you've seen this actually helping RBI take up its monetary policy decision making as compared to maybe earlier when this was not followed?
Yeah, this is very interesting.
Ma'am, any inputs you would like to give to the aspirants who are going to give the exam this year for DEPR? Hello everyone, welcome to iExamB, and I have a very special guest with me today, Ms. Gunjeet Kaur. She has been with RBI for almost 4 decades, and she has joined RBI as a grade B officer in the DEPR department in 1988. She's recently retired with a lot of experience in RBI, not just in DPR, in various other related departments, which we'll delve into in this conversation. She retired as the CGM and was last working in the international department of RBI. So it's going to be a very interesting conversation. All of you who are looking to make a career in RBI, DPR, this year's vacancies are already out. And this will give you further motivation to give in more than your 100% for the recruitment cycle. So welcome, ma'am, and thank you for taking out time to talk to us today.
Thank you.
Okay, so ma'am, let's start with the first very simple question. What motivated you to join RBI back in 1988? I'm sure it was not so much advertised about vacancies that time.
Yes, there was not so much of awareness about what Reserve Bank of India does, or as students, we used to read about Reserve Bank of India and Employment News, the newspaper, carried this advertisement, which looked very attractive given my background, educational background, like MA in economics, and the specified need was MA in economics, and specified need was that a PhD is preferred. I was also in the process of doing my MPhil, so there was a bit of a research background, and it gelled with my, credentials in education. So I decided to apply and chose to sit for the exam, which was at that time in one phase, and there was an interview which was very rigorous, and tremendous amount of work went into that preparation. So yes, I did not want to be a part of commercial banking. I wanted to do something in economics, so I chose this.
And I'm sure, Pam, it fulfilled that dream of yours of doing something in economics and policy by
Yes.
working with RBI. So, ma'am, if you could detail a little what your experience has been in RBI, which all departments you worked in, and how did your actual work start as a grade B officer? What were your responsibilities that time?
So to begin with, the Reserve Bank of India is a great institution. It is one of the most respected institutions in India, and the credentials are very proven. Its policies are very proven, and very effective. So Reserve Bank of India stands tall among other institutions in India. That, of course, was a motivation for me also to apply for this position, as grade B. And when I joined as grade B, it was the entry level, and we were made to feel very comfortable within the department. There were a number of divisions where we were being considered to be posted, but before that, there was a kind of a introductory this thing assimilation process, in the sense that we had been to Reserve Bank of India Staff College for an induction program, and within the Reserve Bank of India, we were sent to various departments to get a feel of what is happening within the Reserve Bank of India. That gave us insights into what the bank is all about. So, in the beginning, when I joined, the responsibilities included I was posted to the macro unit in the national accounts, and the responsibilities included working out of financial savings of households in India, which it's the primary data source for households' savings in financial assets in India.
Great. So, and DEPR department, I think, publishes so many, like you said, this is the primary data. Of course, they are working on so much data for the policy decisions. So what all data are you delving or working with on a longish basis in this department?
There is a whole lot of data that is being used. Actually, the department itself, comprises research based on data. So it is data-driven research that is conducted within the department. And there are several divisions. There are actually 29 divisions
Okay.
handling various sets of data on money, on banking, on inflation, on state finances, on local finances, on central finances, then on industry, on services, on national income. And, even there are some new divisions which have been created within the department recently, are very young in the department, like New Frontiers Unit, the Payments Settlements Division, Global
Yes.
Spillovers Division. Then Reserve Bank of India also generates data on balance of payments and is a
Right.
primary source for balance of payments of India data. It also generates India's external debt data, which is put out twice by Ministry of Finance, and 2 quarters is done by Reserve Bank of India. So that's another set of data. Then there is, in collaboration with the DSIN, that is Department of Information Management System, a whole lot of database has been created and, put in the DBIE portal
Right.
within the Reserve Bank of India website.
Right. And all this falls under DEPR. That's why I think so many reports, all these reports that RBI is publishing on a semi-annual, annual, monthly basis are coming out of DEPR department, I can say.
No, see, for various reports, we get data from outside sources as well as from within the Reserve Bank of India, the domain departments, like trend and progress of banking in India. We are
Yeah.
not the primary source for, banking data, but we
Mhm.
get it from various sources, internal as well as external, and we put together the analysis,
Analysis.
which is, then finally testified and vetted by the top management, seen by the top management before it is put into the public domain. So basically, Reserve Bank of India has, under the RBI Act, it has the statutory obligation to put out two reports every year, which is the annual report on the annual report of Reserve Bank of India, which gives you a snapshot of what has happened in the previous year to the economy and in various sub-sectors and financial sectors of the economy. Second report, which is statutory in nature, is Trend and Progress of Banking in India,
Yeah.
which uses data from various sources and puts it together and presents the analysis of what has happened to the financial system in the economy during the last financial year.
Right.
There are other ad hoc reports which go on, and there are a number of them. Like there is one currency and finance report which has
Right.
been been put out by Reserve Bank of India since its inception, and now it has become theme based. So
Yes.
now a particular theme is picked up. Like the last report was on digital India,
India.
so
Yes.
digitalization. Then the year before that was on climate risk.
Mhm.
So various contemporary themes are picked up and analysis is done. And a further progression in this report has been that these days authorship is given to the officers who
Okay.
contribute to a particular chapter in the
Right.
report.
Mhm.
So there is a proper, credit given to
Credit
people who
given
work
to
on
the
that.
writers and authors also.
Yes, yes.
So
Then
apart
there
from
are
the
other papers.
collaborative inputs, individual inputs can also stand out these
Absolutely,
reports.
absolutely. Then there are other publications, research publications like Reserve Bank of India occasional papers where
Mhm.
a research, hardcore research is being put out. Then there is also State of Indian Economy article, now a part of Reserve Bank of India bulletin, which comes out every month. And a number of officers are involved in putting together that particular chapter, gives you an incisive analysis of what is happening in the economy in various segments. And it's a very comprehensive overview of the Indian economy that you get from Reserve Bank of India bulletin.
So, ma'am, I think we actually DPR is said to be the policy think tank, and all these publications, reports is showing how much effort goes into collating the data, analyzing it, and putting in points that further help RBI to take the various policy decisions that it has been taken and is taking over the years. Ma'am, it reminded me about inflation. You were mentioning about how inflation data, and you have really worked on this data also, growth and the inflation forecasting also, and all. RBI had adopted the flexible inflation targeting model a few decades back, and it was not there earlier. So, how you've seen this actually helping RBI take up its monetary policy decision making, uh, as compared to maybe earlier when this was not followed?
Yeah, uh, yeah, this is very interesting. Actually, 2016 was the year when flexible inflation targeting was put in place, and it was mandated on part of the RBI. There was an inflation target given with a tolerance band around it, so that the uncertainties of external headwinds and domestic headwinds could be accounted for. And then there was a monetary policy committee constituted, which has 6 members. Four are internal, three are external members, and there is an obligation on part of Reserve Bank of India to put out analysis of what has happened during the year to inflation, and put it out in the form of a monetary policy report. And since then, Reserve Bank of India has been publishing on a biannual basis a monetary policy report. Uh, Also, is an accountability clause in that flexible inflation targeting gazette notification, which says that if for the consecutive 3 quarters you are not able to meet
Yeah.
your target, you have to provide an explanation to the government that why you were not able to achieve the target, and give a approximate time frame when you can come back to the target level, and what measures you are going to initiate to get back to the target level of inflation. So it's been a very, very effective experience for Reserve Bank of India in the sense that inflation has actually come down and is being, is generally, except for the things when happened, like COVID happened, which
Mhm.
was not, which was an external factor, and the Ukraine-Russia war happened,
Yeah.
when the inflation target was probably breached at some points of time. Inflation has generally remained around the target range, and RBI has been effectively conducting its monetary policy, given the external expertise on the table and the internal experience on the table.
Yes. Great. Ma'am, I noticed that you retired from the international department. So, does one get chances to move to other departments apart from the DEPR when they join as specifically in the DEPR department?
Yes. So DEPR also has its own regional offices in various state capitals, almost
Mhm.
all state capitals,
Okay.
and the officers can get posted there. And it's very interesting to work in a regional office because there the responsibilities on younger officers are more. They become the in charge of the regional cell wherever they are posted, and they can initiate primary level research or ground level research on various aspects concerning that particular region.
Okay.
Now, secondly, within the central office, officers can move to various departments,
Mhm.
like monetary policy department, which is the pillar of monetary policy making within
Mhm.
Reserve Bank of India. Most quite a bit of the staff, I would say, of the international department is drawn from Department of Economic and Policy Research. That's how I got a chance to be posted in the international department and take up international financial diplomacy and international relations of Reserve Bank of India with rest of the world. So there are opportunities.
Great. Ma'am, if you could elaborate a little about your experience of working in the international department. I see you've done some great projects and worked with so many central banks of so many other countries, plus with the World Bank, IMF, even G20. You mentioned how you've been a part of the papers and the topics of discussion there. So if you could run us through a little of your experience in the international department.
So international department, when I landed there, I was direct. So at that level, I was heading the fund bank division, which meant
Okay.
India's and RBI's relations with the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank.
Okay.
So in that sense, we were driving the Article 4 meetings of the IMF and the World Bank within the Reserve Bank of India, or Article 4 meetings of the IMF
Okay.
within the Reserve Bank of India, which are, and the reports of these meetings are market sensitive. So I drove that whole process for about 5 years, and the results were very fruitful and effective. And in that there is a two-way dialogue. You have to bring the various domain departments of the Reserve Bank on the table and the International Monetary Fund team together on the table. And then they have discussion on various aspects of what the IMF feels about the growth, about various aspects of the economy. And then Reserve Bank of India officials, you know, defend their positions and or give explanations of what is happening in their respective sectors. So it's a very comprehensive exercise. So that was very rewarding. Apart from that, there were many other things that were, as advisor I did when I was promoted. That included overseeing the uh, financial stability uh, program, financial stability assessment program of the IMF and the World Bank, which is called FSAP. FSAP is done every 5 years for India and is driven jointly by the IMF and the World Bank. So that's a very comprehensive exercise and gives us insights into the economic system, how it's working, and where we need to correct ourselves. So it's a two-way dialogue again. Then within the G20, I had the opportunity of being a member from the Reserve Bank of India of the International Financial Working Architecture Group, so IFA, where I presented Reserve Bank of India views on various aspects which were coming up for discussion at the G20 meetings of the IFA working group. So that culminated into some decision making, and those meetings are attended by all G20 members and as well as the international organizations like the IMF, the BIS, the OECD, and the FSB are also a part of those meetings. So you can have a two-way dialogue with these organizations and the G20 countries on what is happening in your country vis-a-vis their economies. So
So,
it was a very fruitful experience. Apart from that, I was also deputed to attend the meetings and work on talking points and work on interventions made by the management at the Bank for International Settlements meetings, which are closed door meetings, and on various aspects we have to give insights which are being discussed at those meetings. So that was a very, very enriching experience for me professionally as well as personally. It led to broadening my horizons and enhancing my own growth as an officer. And it gave me a very, very satisfying, enriching feeling.
So, ma'am, if I understand it right, right from day one till the last day you leave the RBI, it is just going to keep enriching your experience and knowledge base and growth. So that is something that doesn't stop
Yes.
throughout your career.
Yes. It goes on throughout your career. New learnings, like when I worked for the Monetary Policy Committee, there was an interdepartmental group on forecasting. It opened up new horizons, for me. And when I came to the international department, it was like another world. So there was a lot of reading on my part and lot of hard work that went into it to understand various things and to be able to communicate to the top management what was required. So it uh, is a lot of hard work, lot of reading, lot of learning, and professionally very enriching experience. And it
Yeah.
becomes, it's not like a very if you are very laid back and you want a very easy life, then this is not for you. Then you have to, in the sense that it requires a lot of hard work. It requires a lot of time that you have to give, and you have to read and learn. And then only you can, keep the management informed about various things. And you have to keep yourself updated
Right.
on various things that are going around you. And it's not only you have to open up your mind and see everywhere, look everywhere what is happening.
I
So
think, as you mentioned, like we have to keep updated. I think it's reflected in RBI a lot. It is one of the most dynamic organizations, so many time taking initiatives, as per what is important, how the world is changing. So rather than always thinking in a retrospective or a reactive manner, I think RBI takes a lot of proactive steps towards policy making, even to enter. UPI has been great transforming
yeah.
decision in the payment side that came, even green finance, uh, and how we tackled, I think, the global financial crisis. That's also how RBI can think ahead all the time. And if I bring it down to the exam level, we see that even in the papers, I will say, the recruitment process, where so much importance is given to dynamic topics rather than just static understanding of the syllabus that RBI gives. So there's so much impetus on the Indian economy, how things are evolving, how different policies, government schemes are working. So that's covered, I think, which showcasing how dynamic and updating yourself is important uh,
So
for
what
this.
the aspiring students should do is, like, conceptual clarity is what is required when you sit for the exam. So they have to be very clear about the concept. If they are clear about the concept, then they'll be able to handle the questions better.
Yeah.
And secondly, if you have econometrics background, that is very, very essential nowadays in conducting empirical research within the department. And that's an added advantage that
Yeah.
students will have if they have a mathematical or econometrics background. That's what I would say.
Yes, absolutely. And there is a separate paper on econometrics. So yes, it's a
Yeah,
very, very important paper and a skill
yeah.
to have for this job. Ma'am, I'll
Okay.
just go back a little on your point, how much you emphasized the fact that it is a lot of hard work and one has to be ready for that. In that context, I just wanted to ask you, how is the work-life balance like in RBI? And does hard work mean no work-life balance?
See, there is these days a lot of emphasis within the Reserve Bank of India on work-life balance. Uh, Now, there are, as I mentioned, the regional offices of Reserve Bank of India, and when there is any, exigency, or even if the officers are inclined to work in some particular area in some particular region, those things are handled very positively within the bank. Things are to just give people an opportunity to have work-life balance. Of course, central office conditions are different, and but then an effort is made from all aspects that you have a residence close to your office so that you don't have to travel much because Mumbai is a city where you have to travel also when
Right.
you go for work. Now, a work-life balance has to be an individual choice. You have 24 hours, so time management becomes very essential. So a person, an individual has to, also keep up with his or her hobbies and his or her, passions in life rather than only uh, focusing on office work. Both the things are important.
Important.
So,
Yeah.
left to an individual, time management has to be done whenever they have postings where a lot of commitment, a lot of dedication, a lot of time has to be given within the bank for working. So, as an individual, I personally I feel that I just had a jungle in my balcony because I'm really passionate about plants. So I used to take care of my plants uh, even when I was very busy, even when I was, that would refresh me. So I would urge the aspirants to, keep this in mind that you should keep some hobby or some such activity which gives you a work-life balance sense alive to get ahead.
I think that's a beautiful take, and it's the first time I'm hearing it this way, ma'am. And it makes so much sense because ultimately, work is always there, and we have to give in, and there's always hard work.
Yes,
While we may look for shortcuts, but ultimately, we do know there can be smart things. They're not really shortcuts, and work is always there. But time management is the key to be
yes,
able to make work life,
and
to balance it out.
deliver on.
Yeah.
Mm, yeah,
So I think it's a very beautifully presented thought on work-life balance, which I've not heard before. So it gives me also some perspective into how this can be done. So
yeah,
thanks, ma'am, for sharing that aspect. Ma'am, you also mentioned like one could also be posted in regional offices or within the central office. So many more departments you could get exposure to,
yeah.
despite having been there for the DEPR. So is this posting changes or department changes too frequent for DEPR candidates?
No,
Okay.
they are not. Most of your time and most of your career building happens in central office within DEPR,
Mm-hmm.
and it is preferable that people spend most of their time in central office because things happen every day,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to keep in touch with what is happening within the Reserve Bank of India. So to be able to progress better career-wise, central office is the best place. But then, yes, you can get some respite or some kind of posting outside of central office or to another department if there is a need.
Great, great. Ma'am, one more question I'd like to ask, which may sound a little outdated today in today's time when we are talking about equal opportunity all the time, and it's happening also. But still, back then when you joined, was there any difference between being a female employee or any other employee, a non-female employee in the organization at RBI? And over the years now, do you see any kind of challenges for a female employee to be working in RBI? And specifically in the DEPR department.
I'll be very coming in this, and I will tell you that it's a very equitable uh, organization. It treats its employees very well. It treats its employees with great amount of dignity, and it does not differentiate uh, as far as gender is concerned. We have a lot of respect within the organization, and we work in tandem with our male colleagues within the organization, and the organization is must be one of the best as far as gender equality is concerned. So the organization is very sensitive to the needs and requirements of women, and provides them with equal opportunity to grow within the organization. And just when I retired, the number of heads of the department in RBI was tremendous in terms of the female male gender ratio. Uh, so I would say it provides a very brilliant opportunity to women to be a part of the organization and to be equal.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm sure this is so. If any of the female candidates, although majority don't have this kind of a thought today, but in case if this was still troubling you, I'm sure you can stop worrying about it and just focus on your preparation and your exam. Ma'am, any inputs you would like to give to the aspirants who are going to give the exam this year for DEPR?
So just be focused and be very precise in your answers. Of course, objective type you have to be precise. There's no way out. But when you have subjective exams, at that time your conceptual clarity should show within your answers, and hard work goes a long way. And that will, along with hard work, reading habit, in the sense that you keep updating yourself with new aspects of what is happening within the world, within India, and that will help you, in the exam, in handling your question papers very confidently.
Ma'am, like you emphasized on reading, which is true. So, any particular publications you would like to mention that these students can read?
No, they know the best. Their professors are the best guides, but newspaper reading, financial newspapers in particular, is always important. So you take one financial newspaper and read it through the year. That helps you, get perspective on what is happening in the economic field, and how things are changing,
Right.
and that definitely helps.
Absolutely. Like, I think that's the bare minimum requirement for reading. So before you
Yeah.
jump into reading some international reports or some
No,
heavy
no.
economic reading, I think if we have the basics in place, it will take care of a lot of your concepts and thought process. So uh, thank you, ma'am. I think these are great inputs, both from the preparation point of view and also a great insight into what all lies ahead in this career for the students. So thank you once again, ma'am, for taking out time and talking to us in so much detail.
Thank you. Thank you very much.